I don't know, I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, it's just so great. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Thank you. We spend so much of our life trying to prove something.
It started with a joke, not a royal statement, not a lawsuit, just a sharp 30-second punchline on Saturday Night Live. Colin Jost, with that signature smirk, tossed out a line about Meghan Markle's past. And before the laughter even faded, the internet was already on fire. See, this wasn't your average late-night jab. This one cracked open a vault Meghan had spent years trying to lock shut. The infamous Yacht girl rumor. And just like that, the past came roaring back. For most people, a blurry photo from a decade ago means nothing. But if you're Meghan Markle, one resurfaced yacht pic can unravel an entire brand. The image wasn't grainy enough to dismiss, nor clear enough to confirm without a doubt. But that didn't matter. What mattered was the timing. That photo, luxury yacht, champagne flutes, wealthy men, a woman in designer swimwear who looked a lot like pre-royalty Meghan, dropped right after Colin's joke, and suddenly everyone became a detective. Reddit lit up like a crime scene. TikTok sleuths zoomed in on bracelets, compared earring shapes, even tracked the angle of the sun in the photo to figure out the location. Was it her? Couldn't be. Or could it? And while no one's dropping a court-certified ID on the woman in that photo, the vibe was clear. Meghan's past wasn't just coming back. It was dragging receipts with it. And this time, no PR spin was sticking. This isn't the first time Meghan's been accused of being something she's not. But in the past, the criticisms were easier to shake. Too demanding, too dramatic, too American, vague, easily flipped into a story of misunderstood womanhood. But this wasn't a headline. This was a meme, a punchline. And that's way harder to erase because when people start laughing at you instead of fighting with you, the game changes. Here's the twist, though. Meghan had almost pulled it off. From actress to activist duchess, she managed to rebrand herself in record time. A few years ago, she was writing lifestyle blogs about green juice and affirmations. The next minute, she's sitting next to Oprah, telling the world how she was silenced. The transformation? Impressive, almost too clean. That's what made it powerful, but also what made it fragile, because you can only scrub so much of your past before people start asking why it needed scrubbing in the first place. That's what made Colin's joke sting. It didn't just call her out. It hinted. It nudged the audience to think, to look, to remember. And now suddenly the fairy tale version of Meghan, the empowered underdog who broke the royal mold, is being questioned. Was she really plucked from obscurity? Or did she have a roadmap the whole time, complete with high-profile connections and behind-the-scenes access? Insiders are now whispering that Meghan didn't just get mad about the joke. She lost it. Phone calls, damage control, pleas to redirect the narrative. But it was too late. The story had already mutated. It wasn't about one photo anymore. It was about everything that photo represented. Because maybe Meghan's real talent wasn't acting. It was curating, building an image so flawless that people forgot to question where it started. But that's the thing about PR perfection. All it takes is one crack, one photo, one joke, and suddenly the whole thing starts to wobble. And Colin's line, it wasn't a hammer. It was a chisel. Quiet, sharp, precise. The kind of thing that breaks statues, not with a bang, but with a whisper. Somewhere between the memes and the media frenzy, people started remembering things they weren't supposed to. Not just the yacht photos, but the weirdly erased timelines, the friendships that vanished without explanation, the interviews that contradicted themselves. Suddenly, Meghan's origin story, the one about a girl who worked her way up from cable TV to a crown, was being dissected frame by frame like it was an unsolved case on Netflix. The joke may have lit the match, but the internet poured the gasoline. Photos started popping up from blogs and forums that had long been ignored. Pictures that looked edited out of history. Women in swimsuits, men in suits, glimmering decks, and parties so private you couldn't even find guest lists. Except now people were finding them. Matching timestamps, cross-referencing outfits. One thread even claimed Meghan had attended the same event as Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein well before she ever met Harry. There's no proof, of course, no smoking gun. But that didn't matter. The story had momentum now. And worse, it had context. What made it different this time was that people weren't just looking for gossip. They were looking for patterns. Meghan wasn't being judged for partying on a boat. She was being questioned for pretending it never happened, for deleting parts of her past so aggressively, so thoroughly that the deletions became suspicious themselves. And the silence, that's what really got people talking. Meghan's always been quick to clap back when she feels cornered. Lawsuits, statements, subtle Instagram captions wrapped in self-help mantras. She knows how to push back. But this time, nothing. Not a word. Not even a staged paparazzi stroll with a meaningful quote on her sweatshirt. Just radio silence, which only made things worse. Because if the photos were fake, why not say it? If the joke was cruel, why not condemn it? Instead, her team went quiet. And that kind of quiet doesn't read like strength. It reads like panic or worse, guilt. Meanwhile, Colin Jost went about his week like nothing happened. He didn't apologize, didn't clarify, didn't feed the drama. He didn't need to. The joke had already done its job. He wasn't the story. She was. And every hour that passed, more headlines appeared. More YouTubers dissected the footage. More TikTok detectives matched shadows and body angles. But the scariest part for Meghan wasn't the resurfaced photos or the internet noise. It was the shift happening behind the scenes. Hollywood started watching. Not just fans, not just trolls, but brand managers, event coordinators, corporate sponsors, the kind of people who smile in your face while quietly removing your name from a shortlist. Meghan had always walked the fine line between celebrity and royalty, leveraging both when it suited her. But now she was becoming something worse than controversial. She was becoming unpredictable. And in Hollywood, unpredictable doesn't get you booked, it gets you blacklisted. One entertainment insider even whispered that her name had been pulled from a major speaking engagement last minute. Not because of what was proven, but because of what might still come out. That's the thing with reputation. It's not about truth. It's about risk. And when your brand is built on empowerment and authenticity, a single whisper of inauthenticity can collapse the whole thing. Suddenly, Meghan wasn't the inspirational figure who challenged an outdated monarchy. She was a former lifestyle blogger with a suspiciously well-connected past and a disappearing act for every messy detail. And that's a tough story to rebrand, no matter how polished your Instagram feed is. Executives don't care about your journey when your name starts trending for the wrong reasons. And lately, Meghan Markle's name hasn't been trending for activism or elegance. It's been trending for suspicion. The glossy CoverGirl sheen is wearing thin, and behind it people are starting to see the cracks. She built her public image like a luxury brand. Aspirational, curated, unattainable. But now the packaging is being ripped open, and folks aren't loving what's inside. And it's not just gossip anymore. It's cultural. Because once the jokes start, they spread like wildfire. TikToks are parodying her old blog posts. Instagram reels are stitching together her humanitarian speeches with Yacht memes. And podcast hosts are treating her rebrand like a case study in modern manipulation. It's no longer about what she did. It's about how much she tried to hide it. That's what people can't look away from. One viral comment said it best. It's not the yacht photo. It's the fact that she pretended to walk on water the whole time. Harsh, maybe, but it captured what millions were starting to feel. Meghan didn't get dragged because she had a wild past. Plenty of celebs do. She got dragged because she tried to erase that past like it never existed and told the rest of us to see her as the hero of a fairy tale. And that fairy tale, it's officially under review. Inside the Sussex Circle, sources claim it's chaos, PR team scrambling, projects going silent. Harry, who's always claimed to hate the press, is now reportedly fuming in private while trying to keep his distance in public. His name is still tied to hers in every headline, every scandal, every punchline. And the prince, who once said he left the royal family to protect his wife, is now watching as her past becomes a joke he can't outrun. The tension's growing. Even supporters are conflicted. Some still defend her, insisting the scrutiny is unfair, rooted in misogyny or racism. But others are going quiet, not because they've turned against her, but because they don't know what to say anymore. Her defenders used to have ammunition. Now all they have is awkward silence. And silence is contagious. In Hollywood, silence usually means one thing. You're being phased out quietly, painlessly. Meghan's name, once used to sell brand deals, to headline panels, to boost ratings, is becoming a liability. Too many questions, too many contradictions, not enough answers. One major talent agency reportedly passed on a new partnership citing brand inconsistency. Translation: they don't know who